Why is she starring in the West End version of Evita? I don't understand it.
I think a lot of the filmmakers thought that the story was over.
In an astonishing turn of events, Broadway audiences are now being invited to attend Rachel Zegler's latest production for free. That's right. What began as a glittering opportunity for one of Hollywood's fastest rising stars has now devolved into a public spectacle of career implosion. The show's collapse has triggered more than just online ridicule. It's exposed a string of missteps that have turned Zegler's once promising ascent into a cautionary tale for the entertainment industry. For those who don't know, Zegler is the same actress Disney proudly cast as the new face of Snow White, a bold move following her breakout role in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. She was on every next big thing list. But now, as her show scrambles to fill half-empty theaters and offers pay-what-you-want pricing just to put bodies in seats, many are asking the same question. What happened?
Rachel Zegler is being bashed, and it could lead to the biggest failure in history.
But I mean, chemistry can't be faked, it can't be contrived, and it can't be made in a lab, hilariously enough.
How did the girl once hailed as Hollywood's golden child go from center stage to center of controversy? This isn't just a failed musical, it's a career meltdown in real time. And as more details surface, it's clear that the chaos behind Rachel Zegler's downfall isn't just about ticket sales. It's about image, ego, and a series of choices that may have permanently reshaped her path in the industry. Rachel Zegler's story started like a modern-day fairy tale. Plucked from relative obscurity to star in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, she immediately impressed both critics and industry veterans alike. It wasn't long before major studios lined up for a piece of the Zegler phenomenon.
Jamie Lloyd's Evita at the London Palladium merchandise with prices.
Disney made its move, casting her in what was supposed to be a landmark remake of Snow White. And for a time, the buzz was electric. Zegler represented the future, inclusive, outspoken, and brimming with potential. But what no one saw coming was how quickly public favor could turn. What had started as a carefully cultivated star image was about to be tested and ultimately undone by a series of PR disasters, tone-deaf interviews, and polarizing choices. The stage was set not for her next big hit, but for an unraveling no one could have predicted. Things began to unravel the moment Rachel stepped in front of press microphones during promotion for Snow White.
It was empty. It's opening weekend. Imagine sitting in there in an empty movie theater on opening weekend. The main star of the movie can't even attract butts in the seats. And how does she respond? By celebrating?
What should have been a routine media tour turned into a lightning rod of controversy. Zegler, instead of honoring the legacy of the beloved 1937 classic, made remarks that alienated a large portion of Disney's loyal fanbase. She called the prince a stalker, dismissed the original film as outdated, and positioned her version of Snow White not as a love story, but a feminist revision about leadership and independence. While the intent may have been to present a more modern take, the delivery was perceived as condescending and disrespectful. Social media platforms exploded. Longtime Disney fans felt insulted, while critics accused her of using feminism as a smokescreen to trash a beloved property.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Reddit threads, TikToks, and think pieces emerged in droves. The backlash was immediate, and it wasn't just public sentiment that soured. Insiders began reporting growing concern at Disney over her statements. Executives, it said, were caught completely off guard by how quickly their family-friendly fairy tale became the subject of cultural warfare. And yet, the damage was only just beginning. While the Snow White controversy was still simmering, Rachel made another critical misstep, this time on Instagram. Amidst the heated backdrop of the 2024 US election, she posted a story saying, "May Trump, his voters, and supporters never know peace."
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
The post went viral almost instantly, but instead of rallying support from progressive fans, the comment created a political firestorm that pushed Zegler further into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Critics accused her of wishing ill on half the country. Moderates saw it as unprofessional. And Disney, a brand built on appealing to families across political lines, was suddenly stuck with a leading lady embroiled in political controversy. When backlash rolled in, instead of backtracking, Zegler doubled down, further alienating viewers and families. Once again, Disney remained silent, but behind the scenes, sources say the studio was rattled. Internal discussions reportedly revolved around whether Zegler's public presence had become a liability.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Rachel, you got time to sign some autographs for us, Rachel? Rachel, please. Rachel, you got time to sign some, Rachel? Maybe on the way out?
While the Instagram story was eventually deleted, screenshots lived on, circulating endlessly online. It cemented a growing perception that Zegler was not only outspoken but dangerously unpredictable, exactly the kind of PR risk major studios try to avoid. Hoping to pivot away from the controversy and reestablish herself as a serious performer, Zegler accepted the lead role in the West End production of Evita under renowned director Jamie Lloyd. It should have been her comeback moment, a stage legend reborn in London's iconic Palladium Theatre. But instead of applause, Zegler found herself once again at the center of backlash.
Feeling there was no world in which I said no. Practically begged you.
It's your West End debut.
I haven't done a musical on stage since my senior year of high school doing Shrek the musical. So it was quite a different one than Shrek. It's just a little bit. Nobody lets me be funny a lot. I love to giggle.
In one especially bewildering move, she chose to perform the show's most iconic number, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. Not on stage for paying guests, but from a balcony above the street for onlookers outside. Theatergoers, some of whom paid upwards of $500 per ticket, watched on indoor monitors as the actress serenaded people on the sidewalk for free. Social media erupted with memes and ridicule. Critics dubbed it the balcony blunder. Outraged fans flooded review sites and Reddit with sarcastic commentary, questioning the logic behind the performance and blasting the production for what they saw as a stunt that disrespected the audience. While her vocals were largely praised, the strange staging decision turned what should have been a highlight moment into a viral joke.
You are very funny, and there's a lot of fun in this rehearsal room. I don't think anyone's ever heard this sung like this. I mean, you sing it just impeccably. It's incredible. It's a major achievement.
Thank you.
Acting-wise and vocally. And you're an icon as well to many.
It's a scary thought.
It's true, though. Yeah.
The narrative had changed. Rachel Zegler wasn't just controversial anymore. She was becoming laughable. The fallout from Evita's balcony controversy was swift and severe. Attendance plummeted. Where once tickets had been a hot commodity, theaters were now struggling to fill seats. In an almost unprecedented move for a major production, pricing was slashed. Tickets were marked down, then offered at pay-what-you-want rates. Some reports claimed shows were simply giving seats away to avoid the embarrassment of empty rows. The optics were devastating. Rachel Zegler, the same actress Disney had bet on as their next billion-dollar franchise lead, was now the star of a stage production giving away tickets just to avoid playing to silence. The media pounced. Headlines weren't about her performance, they were about her collapse. And while critics noted that her voice and acting remained strong, they also pointed out that her name alone was enough to turn audiences off. Zegler had become a polarizing figure, and in theater, a space deeply dependent on reputation and word of mouth, her presence had become radioactive. As the show's attendance continued to dwindle, so too did the perception that she could rebound. At this point, the narrative wasn't just about a troubled show, it was about a career nosediving in real time. Behind the curtains of both stage and screen, new reports began to surface, ones that painted a less flattering picture of Zegler's conduct with directors and production crews. While no one accused her of outright misconduct, the word difficult started to appear with increasing regularity in whispers from backstage. Sources close to both the Snow White and Evita productions described an actress who often challenged direction, frequently pushed back on lines and dialogue, and carried herself with a confidence some described as bordering on arrogance. One anonymous crew member reportedly told a friend, "She talks like she's smarter than the story." Others said she acted like a veteran despite having only a couple of high-profile projects under her belt. While ambition is often applauded in the entertainment world, Zegler's timing was poor. Coming off a string of controversies, these behind-the-scenes reports only added fuel to the fire that her fame had gotten ahead of her professionalism. It didn't help that insiders claimed Disney had pushed back the Snow White release in part to let the bad buzz subside. Whatever the case, it was becoming harder and harder to defend Zegler as merely misunderstood.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable. There's some clip of her on the internet in her Snow White outfit saying, "Every hour I am in the outfit of Snow White wearing the dress. All 18 hours, I deserve to be paid for every single one." Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel?
The whispers were now turning into headlines. In a telling shift, Disney began quietly distancing itself from the very star it had once touted as the future of its live-action empire. First came the delays. Snow White, originally slated for a major release window, was pushed back with no clear explanation. Then fans noticed something even more suspicious. Merchandise tied to the film vanished from Disney stores. Toys, posters, promotional materials, gone. Meanwhile, marketing campaigns were either scaled down or never launched at all. industry insiders speculated Disney was engaging in what they call silent retraction, a tactic used when a brand decides to minimize exposure without making a formal announcement. Sources claim that editing of the film was still ongoing, not to enhance effects, but to minimize Zegler's controversial impact, altering lines, adjusting tone, and reworking scenes to salvage whatever could be saved. While Disney never publicly confirmed these rumors, the silence was deafening. And in the world of high-stakes studio politics, silence can be louder than any press release. The message was clear. This was no longer the big-budget reboot that was supposed to dominate box offices. It was a liability. And Zegler's once glamorous role as Snow White had become a symbol of everything wrong with rushed remakes, miscalculated PR, and the risk of casting a star still finding her footing in a hypercritical media landscape. Rachel Zegler's name now evokes more confusion than excitement. For a time, she was supposed to be the fresh face of a new generation, talented, articulate, socially aware. But in the wake of repeated controversies, she has found herself in what industry veterans call Hollywood jail, a liminal space where an actor isn't officially canceled but is effectively blacklisted by cautious studios. Casting directors hesitate, producers seek safer options. Publicists stop returning calls. She's not famous enough to draw crowds on name alone, and not low-profile enough to reemerge quietly. Fans, once eager to see her next move, now scroll past her headlines or engage only to argue. Her association with failed projects like Shazam 2, the meme-ified Evita revival, and the perpetually delayed Snow White reboot has left a sour taste.
Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, Cry Me a River? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
More importantly, her personal brand, once defined by warmth and charisma, is now overshadowed by political rants, PR disasters, and viral missteps. And while talent is still on her side, the reality is that Hollywood thrives on likability and image. Zegler's image, once carefully curated, is now fractured. And with no major wins on the horizon, it's unclear whether she can bounce back or if this is the beginning of a long, silent fade into obscurity. In the end, the question remains: is Rachel Zegler a victim of bad timing and toxic internet outrage, or did she sabotage her own success through a series of ill-considered choices? On one hand, she was thrust into legacy roles with immense pressure and zero margin for error. From West Side Story to Snow White, she wasn't just playing characters, she was playing with cultural icons, under the microscope of every fan base, critic, and political faction imaginable. But on the other hand, her pattern of dismissive comments, divisive statements, and theatrical stunts paints a picture of an actress perhaps unaware of the weight her words and actions carry. Was she too bold too soon? Or simply misled by poor PR and unchecked ambition? Whatever the cause, Rachel Zegler's story is now more than just one actress's fall from grace. It's a modern Hollywood parable, one that illustrates the thin line between star and scapegoat, between influence and infamy. She dreamed of being a fearless leader, a modern icon, a bold voice in a stale industry. But somewhere along the way, she stopped being heard and started being mocked. And now, as her show's tickets drop to $0 and her face trends for all the wrong reasons, the curtain may be closing, not just on Evita, but on the era of Rachel Zegler. Whether that curtain ever rises again remains to be seen.